All right, what's going on, everybody? Okay, throughout the course of our lives, God has the power to continually change our plans. We will never be able to know 100% of what our future will look like. My dad and his two older brothers lived in Massachusetts, growing up with my grandmother, Eleanor. She was a single mother working to support her 3 boys. David was the oldest, Ronnie was the middle child, and my dad was the youngest. After growing up in Northampton, Massachusetts, David moved to Florida to be with my grandmother. My dad moved to Texas because he was stationed at Fort Hood, and Ronnie stayed in Massachusetts. Ronnie was a very gifted handyman, and he put his talents to good work as a construction worker, building houses. Due to the fact that he lived so far away, my family and I rarely got to see him. When we were able to visit, he would take me around the houses that they were building and let me sit with them on top of the tractors that they were using. As a child, one of my most vivid memories is sitting on top of that tractor. He drove me around the property and showed me everything that they were doing in the log cabins that they were building. Many years went by and my family hadn't seen Uncle Ronnie. Then one day, while he was on the phone with my dad, he informed us that he was getting married. While this was a shock to us, we were all ecstatic to hear the news. He had never been married before, and at the age of 54, he had finally found the person that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. My family traveled to Massachusetts, where I saw the house that he had renovated, and I met my soon-to-be Aunt Susie. It was a small wedding, but it was exciting to see how happy he was and how happy everyone was for him. While talking with my grandmother at the wedding, she told me that she was so fulfilled now that she had seen all of her sons get married, and was so joyful that my Uncle Ronnie had met someone so caring and so loving in my Aunt Susie. After the wedding was over, we got back on a plane and returned to Texas. Everything was going right for Uncle Ronnie. He was the owner of Mistarka Home Improvement, everyone was proud of him, and he was a newly married man at the age of 54. On July 12, 2011, just 3 months after his wedding, he had fallen through a roof of a shop he was repairing, and he had died upon impact of the concrete floor. Upon hearing this news, no one knew how to react. Why Uncle Ronnie? He didn't deserve this. It was seemingly the happiest he had ever been in his life. Why, God, are you taking away from all of that good? In the midst of something so horrible, it is hard to find any good at all. Proverbs 3:5-6 states, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight." I find that this verse can bring comfort. My Uncle Ronnie had no idea what his path looked like when he got out of bed the morning of July 12th. Each person that loved Ronnie had no idea that this event would cross their path either. Regardless of what we think is going to occur in our lives, we have to constantly look for God in everything that we do. While we may not understand why God places these events in our lives, we have to trust him with a whole heart. Regardless of how upset we are as believers in God, we have to continue to trust God and thank him for what we have been blessed with. I have no idea what God has in store for me, and there is no way for me to know. But what I can always count on is what God has already blessed me with. Uncle Ronnie may not be here with us physically, but because of the path that I have laid, I can always remember sitting on top of that tractor with Uncle Ronnie. Thank you.
You guys stand, please.